Hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Word Plus. Yesterday's trade went okay. It wasn't bad. The entrance was terrible. Never should have done that. Um, but we came out with 9 cents, which isn't entirely bad. Um, it was more of a guess. Uh, no, I'm gonna say it was less of a guess because I stuck to the direction I wanted to go in, and it still wound up tanking in the end. Like I had the direction correct. We entered in a short position, and it went in the direction. We just weren't patient enough to wait it out. We should have waited. I should have waited. Whole 9 yards. Um, we came close to getting stopped out several times throughout this candle specifically, and before it could really do that, just that, and stop us out, I chose to get out of the candle halfway through the move, and sure enough, that's where it is. But that was yesterday. Here's today's setup. We have our balance area. We have our point of control. We have a secondary point of control here that price might want to come down to manipulate. However, I'm looking at the MACD as well as the volume profile, and seeing as there is a ton of volume here and that we have just broke out of this current trend via imbalance, and price being above this point of control, I do suspect price will continue higher based on now the high time frame trend, as well as the 5 minute matching up with there being some overarch. It coming down to manipulate this point of control makes a little bit of sense considering on the 5 minute we're about to cross again. Um, that being the case, the direction I think it's going to go is up. Obviously, we just broke structure. Imbalance is there. Clear indication that price might continue higher. Outside of, because this right here is Asian session, we want the data solely from London session now, just to really drive it home. London sessions falling in suit with a high time frame. We have a very strong pull of price right here, and we could easily see a break from this now consolidation. From this consolidation, we see a huge amount of volume here piling up. We could easily see this get manipulated and then reacted to in a strong way. There's not much space for it to break out of this comfort zone. So I do believe if it does come down at all, it'll strongly react to the point of control and continue higher based on the fact that the per London session volume is up here, and we also have our point of control here. There's only really two nodes for it to go in. I'm confident it'll go down first, react based on the MACD and the volume, and then from that we should see a strong reaction to the flip side. We just need to wait for it to come down, react, and then move up. When you look for an imbalance between these 2 points, from there it's a matter of waiting for price to hit, fail, hit, and then poke through, and that's kind of what I'm debating. I'm basing it on because most of the volume over time is above this price level here. So the logic makes sense. Over time, if volume builds up, it's just going to poke through and continue going. Based on that notion, I think it'll continue higher. This is just a setup for a much larger push into that upwards direction. It's just a matter of waiting and seeing what happens. Um, that is the current setup. I've set up my entire time frame. I'm watching the MACD. We're in retrace now. I do believe it's going to go lower. How much lower, I'm not entirely sure, but if we were to base it on this fair value gap on the 5 minute specifically, not because this right here is the high time frame, right? We're looking at the most recent imbalance, so it'd be this right here. And within this imbalance, we're looking for a price level, a low to get hit twice. So take the lowest low, boom. Now we're waiting for between these two levels to get hit. If this is hit and it fails to continue past this point, we know it'll continue higher. But if it doesn't and continues lower, we know the target is going to be roughly either this area, in which case we can go ahead and go back up to the high time frame, mark a low that we might see in this. Actually, we can't. We can't do that because it is completely all of this that's occurring. Of course, this candle has yet to close, so this fair value gap right here might not even be a thing. I'm just going to delete that for now. Focus on this as it is. Though that is the current valid imbalance. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep that up until it changes, which I don't think it will, at least not anytime soon, but we'll see. Go ahead and do this right here. We'll go to the 5 minute. And then we're looking at lows. We're looking at for it to get like real close to it, not much room at all. And I do believe we have our interaction now. We have one low here, down, up, low here. Roughly the same price level, right at the same price level. Sellers were present here after price had pushed real high, but it pushing as far as low as this was a no bueno for this volume node. So I think it'll continue higher based on this imbalance and its break of structure there, coupled with the fact that we are going to have a break of structure on this candle. We have a break of structure on this candle already. It's just a matter of time before this just breaks above and then continues. I'm going to go make coffee because it is currently 7 a.m. and I accidentally woke up at 8 p.m. Yeah, let's check news real quick just to see what might happen on market open. We have PPI, 832. That's right at our window. So, yeah, PPI on 2 different folders. So it's going to be volatile on market. Very, very volatile. I did not know we were in a shutdown. Interesting. Either way, this being the case, yeah, we just have to wait and see what's happening. Luckily, 8:30 is just before. It should actually be like roughly now. No, it's not. We're a whole hour away. Luckily, 8:30 is smack dab in the center of where we'll be trading, where we will be trading, right? That being said, I'm looking forward to taking a trade today. In the event my strategy is just not good, it doesn't want to pop up the way I want it to, then I'll pass on it for today. I'll assume that it's just on the cards and we'll call it a week. And in any case, if you guys are interested in watching any more of this kind of content, consider subscribing or liking. It's been a minute since I posted any real investment content outside of the TGR strategy I was working on for all those months a little while ago back in 2025. I apologize for that. I apologize. I recognized throughout the process of making those videos that I was getting nowhere and fast. The motions, the strategy, everything about my ability to apply what I had learned from TGR to a chart and actually make something from it, it wasn't consistent enough for my liking, and as a result I chose to venture away from TGR's strategies and methods. I kept his terminology because that's my home terminology. I understand that. I ventured away from him though because it just wasn't consistent enough, and I wanted to learn for myself what it was like to build a strategy based on theories that others have proven to be a little bit more consistent and reliable compared to his. Not saying smart money concepts is a bad way to go about trading, but that I am no good at it. There is no one size fits all when it comes to day trading. You have to be adaptable when it comes to the markets and what they'll do. Even right now, take my words for what you see on the screen. I said, per my strategy, price would need to reject this level and continue higher. Then again, we also knew that on the higher time frame, price needs to continue lower, hit a point of control, and then react from it. That's what we were hoping would happen, which is gold. This is gone, and this is gone. Because of disrespect to that price level, I'm expecting it to continue to drop. PPI is a very volatile folder as well, so I imagine it's going to continue dropping at a harsh rate based on that, seeing as we just broke structure from this low here. Yeah, it's just a waiting game to see what exactly is going to happen and what isn't going to happen. Aside from that, there's not much else that really needs to be said. I don't want to sound like I'm some tutorialist type of person, some teacher. I am learning this firsthand, and these videos are a secondary way for me to place notes on the internet for myself, my use, and my entertainment alone. If you take anything from this, please understand that I am not a financial advisor. I will never advise you on any way, shape, or form on how to do your own finances. I do not recommend listening to anyone on the internet when it comes to that kind of topic unless you're paying them to do so and it is stated in a contract that they are obliged to do so per that contract. Um, but yeah, I'm primarily here making these videos for notes, and hopefully someone gets a kick out of me failing or biting the dust when it comes to failing at this. Who knows? Yeah. If you enjoyed the video, consider dropping a like, leaving a comment. Tell me what you like about this video. Tell me what you don't like. If you have tweaks you'd like to make to my strategy, I'll take each suggestion I can get with a grain of salt. That grain of salt being whatever I choose reason-wise. Um, and it'll be the same way the other way around. If you want to take anything from this video, take it with a grain of salt. I could be completely wrong about what I say, and as a result, I'm not responsible for your actions. Just like you are not responsible for mine. Um, yeah. I'm gonna pause the video now because I'm gonna go make some coffee. I want to make some coffee. Um, yeah, I'll be right back. I'll leave it right here too, so that way the point of control is present when we get back, and enough time has passed between here. It's 7:45, so about 8:45. I'll leave my cursor at 8:45 after I pause the video, so when I get back, you guys can clearly see exactly where price has moved from based on where I am when I get back. So yeah. BRB. Okay, so things look just a smidge different. Here we are at 8:45. I'm gonna go ahead and actually pause this because I cannot hear over the blaring ad. This is currently where we're at. 8:45 just opened up. We've got 2 minutes 41 seconds for that candle to close. I just wanted to take a quick look-see, showy look-see, showy telly type gist, right? As to what exactly has happened since I left to go make some coffee, which I've had almost my entire cup now, just waiting for time to pass. I have watched this price fell and much lower than I had expected. I remember having the level here and this fair value gap here, and the thought process was that price was going to hit it and then bounce up. Well, in the same breath that this was occurring, news came out. 2 PPI. We have one green here. Actual greater forecast good for currency. So if it's green, guess what? It's going down. It was green. This one, same thing. We did not get an actual for this. That is entirely fine. I'm gonna go ahead and just couple these two at the same time. Because this was green and it was that much better, it fell. How much did it fall? At 8:30 when it dropped, I'm gonna say by a lot. It came down, swept beyond this, and has since been on the move back up. I did say that price was going to move down. We just didn't know how far down. And based on that move, we were hoping price would react strongly and then continue higher. Well, as that was unfolding and I was watching and paying attention, I decided to move back up to the high time frame temporarily so I can really gauge all the points of control that we have at our purview. So that way, when we go to take a trade, it's not as though we're taking it on more of a whim than we have been recently. I noted that on the high time frame, there's only one real point of control. If we wanted to call it two, we technically could, but I didn't see this as a point of control on the smaller time frame, and I'm trying to adjust for all of it in one shot. This is the point of control. Obviously, there's a consolidation pattern happening between the close of this session and the open of this one. It's the difference between the volume that's going to decide whether or not price is going to continue moving higher or lower. Based on this move here, we've broke out of structure. We still have an imbalance. Price has come down to refill it and has had a strong reaction since. My best guess is going to say that based on the MACD and where price is among that, we could see price cross back up over this smooth moving average. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's take a look at the 5-minute and really depict where point of control 2 and 3 come into play, because I wanted to go over that real quick. Point of control 1 is roughly the same. It's right here, right? It has since moved because of the change in this whole move down here. But per the high time frame, we are still moving up. So volume building on the high end of the low time frames makes a little bit more sense. Coupling that with the rest of what's happened here, we have 3 points of control. We have the big one here, which is obvious. Price is bouncing into it and consolidating within. Point of control 3, highest point outside of this bell curve, and then point of control 2, based on the 5-minute time frame as well. Bell curve, highest point outside of that, and then just layering the two out. This is not indicative of bounce area. Bounce area is from this low all the way up to this high for this consolidation period. At the same time, we have taken a look, after I had marked all of that, to the London session forward. Golly, my English is just not coming out correctly today. And it's Friday of all things. Guess what, chat? It is, or comment section, it is Friday, which means we'll be streaming later. If you're interested in watching that, head over to Orbs Vault. Links to that can be found in the description below. Be sure to check it out. Stop by, say, hey, what's up, hello. Of course, it might be a little bit because this has got to upload first, but same gist. Either way, before I had paused, I had left one fair value gap here, and I'm going to re-explain it. A line from this point forward, kind of like this, that said, if price hit this and moved higher, guess what? We're in an uptrend. This break of structure right here was valid on the higher time frame. We're just going to continue higher, and I can expect when this opens up to either dip down, fake out, and continue, or dip down, break through POC2, and just continue to drop like it did on us yesterday. Something to note, London session's point of control is in line with the point of control of POC2 based on the 5-minute timer. This is higher up, and we can zoom out, and it's pretty much almost the same thing. I say almost the same thing. I'm completely wrong. Main point of control is still up here, but outside of the bell curve, this is a thing. On London session, it makes it a little bit more apparent. This is in control for London session, which means what's going to happen, what I think is going to happen, based on where the point of control is right now on the session, compared to where it is on the high time frame, I feel like it's going to consolidate a little bit more until there's enough volume build up in between to really give us a decisive move. Right now, price is fairly stabilized on point of control 1. It's just consolidating, which means we're looking for a breakout, a well-defined breakout, might I add, just a breakout of this mini consolidation here. And I've taken the liberty of attempting to apply my strategy to this, and it didn't work out the first time. This low was crossed below, and it made a new one. So I figured, okay, it has made a new low. It swept past this one. It doesn't necessarily invalidate this because it did not close below. It failed to close below. So, price level. It has rejected, kind of. I mean, if this wants to be counted as a low, we can do that. It failed to close below this, and it reacted strongly as a result. Price has then, even per the MACD, let me get that up so you can actually see it. Price has been consistently moving down on the MACD, whereas it has jumped up above this line here. This line, remember, is the same orange line here. 'Tis a bit different. The blue line crossing tells us, hey, this is a potential entry point. You might want to get in on this before it's too late. Well, based on that strategy and the fact that there is one fair value gap here that was disrespected. Disrespected means it was closed below. That's what this candle did here. And we broke structure on the 5-minute, but we're still in an uptrend on the high time frame. This is the retrace we were after. It's this that we were looking for. Where is my entry point based on this now? Well, in order to get that, we need to find a price level, a low, within this after news. And at this level, price needs to hit it again, fail to close below, and then skyrocket higher. When does it skyrocket higher? On open. That's where all the volume lies. Once it has done that, guess what? We're home free. Now, aside from that, what happened? Like, how do we exit this strategy? Final take profit either gets hit or the stop loss gets hit. That's fairly certain, but where am I targeting? Well, if the assumption is that price is going to continue higher, I'm going to target areas of liquidity. So above the high, outside of current price movement, above this high here, huge amount of liquidity on this one, and then of course the high way up here. Now, I'm not entirely sure what that would give us. Let's say we entered right now, just hypothetically, because I'm actually kind of curious to see what it would look like. My final take profit would be up there. My final stop loss would be just below these lows because I don't think it's going to go higher. That's a 1 to 5 risk to reward. That looks mighty tasty to me. I don't know about you guys. It looks quite tasty. That's the thought. That's the premise, though, is that price is going to go higher based on the higher time frame and the fact that we had called earlier price was going to retrace. It has been retracing this whole time. And it's based on the volume profile that, hey, point of control is up high. This isn't as high. This is a fair entry point right now. I could probably press enter and watch it continue high, but there's a problem. We're in consolidation. So what am I looking for? I'm looking for a breakout or a failure at one price level that is going to give me the definitive, okay, price now knows where it wants to go because it's rejected a level. Enter, wait for it to go, let it rip, call it a day, step aside, and then let that be the day. I'm going to stick with that logic. I'm going to stick with that strategy. I think I'm level-headed at the moment to really say, okay, let's go for it. I'm going to take a sip of coffee. A little less of a sip, more of a gulp, but we're here. Same gist, we're just waiting patiently. This is before market open. I don't mind taking a trade within this window here. It's what, 30 minutes ish? 33 minutes ish. Price still has room to move lower if it wants to. If it decides to continue lower, then that's okay too. Sketchy business. Sketchy business. The logic is that it'll continue higher based on this, though. We're waiting for it to fail and then continue higher, which the two volume nodes right here, roughly the same. Right at the same. We could get opposing dojis and it would count, in my opinion. It would be a worthy entry, in my opinion. We have matching volume nodes, though, if it decides to close in where it is now. It closing at a price level doesn't necessarily mean that the volume will be adverse. It just means that it was, with the same amount of volume, it had closed lower, which makes sense to me. So, wow, poor Betty. He's had a rough night. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not, but the nephew's, he just woke up from a nightmare, it seems. Anyway, yeah, I think my logic is sound. I'm missing pieces of sophisticated information that otherwise, I mean, I could really do with. But with the limited information that I do have, my terminology, I think I'm still in the right direction. I think I'm in an okay direction. There's probably something I'm missing that would be more beneficial, like an actual flow chart of, or not flow chart, I used to know what it was called, where it's buyers on one side, sellers on another, and then they meet in the middle, and then based on the amount of orders on one side versus the other, you could tell what direction the market is going to go based on A, B, and C. I could place one stop loss take profit and then call it a day, but I'm not using that. It is 9 a.m. Free market is nigh. We are in retrace though, so it works. We were in a downtrend. Did we break structure at all? No. So if this candle, okay, so this is what we're looking for. If it breaks up, we have a second closer, and it decides it's going to go, okay, you know what, we're going to continue and leave a gap here. That is, in my opinion, a valid break. We haven't broke structure on the high time frame. We're still in an uptrend based on this right here. And of course, the point of control is up high, so I imagine it'll consolidate. And then once volume really picks up on open, we'll see it rip even higher to, let's say, this right here, because that is a stronger point of control way up here. And this is like prime time collective. Honestly, if I could do this right here, I would. That's a 1 to 7 risk reward, and that, in my opinion, is kind of worth it. Like a lot more juicier, if you will. I'm waiting on that breakout though. It's gonna be big when it hits. I'm just waiting. Something to note too, technically speaking, because this is the low, this is the high. We have our balance area with alongside the point of control 1, which on the higher time frame is where this is sitting, between open and close of the same time but yesterday. So I'm looking at these two here, and we're waiting for enough volume to build over time to either it poke through or it just continue to widen, and eventually poke through that way. Right now, it being low is, again, right where we want it, because we knew it was going to retrace through the point of control, but we wanted it to, from this move down, continue up, and then from this point of control, continue higher. There's a very high likelihood that if it stays below long enough and this volume changes to higher than this, and it shifts point of control from this imbalance point here forward, we could see it reverse and then continue on down. Having price hit that. Hello, dual price level rejection right there too. That's not an imbalance. That's not an imbalance. That's an imbalance. This right here is an imbalance. And to have this price right here reject it twice says to me price is going to continue lower, which makes sense. It hasn't crossed the SMA yet, so I mean, it makes sense. Though it left a fair value gap right there. Imbalance. This is point control 2 based on the 5-minute time frame. This almost makes me want to trade 2 times today. Because again, going back to what I was saying before, it has to retrace. It has to go down before it can go up, based on what we're seeing right now. Based on the 1 hour, the high time frame, it's about to go up. It's about to rip much higher. But it having already ripped per that break of structure we were noting earlier, it could just be that to like the time frame we currently are in says no, we're moving lower. So it's a bid-ask chart. It's this right here, but it's got multiple of these and multiple of these, and these two are like meeting in the middle, where it'll tell you the direction at which they're going based on the amount and the amount. and in the middle is U. You could just place it. And you can't see my cursor because my face is right here. Sorry. You can see this though. It's just a chart of these two. It's like a T diagram, and you see buy on one side, ask on the other, and then you have up and then down, and then in the middle is U, and then you place something, and it like collapses a whole bunch, and it forces market in a direction. That's a simple way of looking at it. Because of the way this is structured, it's more of a okay, it's gonna go up for a little bit, then it'll go down for a little bit, and then you won't know it until it goes down a lot, and you're like, yikes, you know. So there's retrace. Price has come below this, which makes this makes a little bit more sense. It makes it make a little bit more sense. Does that make any sense? Make, right? Break of structure. When this candle closes, if that's a fair value gap, I have no problem entering on a long position, restoring this. If it closes, it'll be roughly about there. Because that'll need to continue higher, I think. It won't close just above that because it's already ventured beyond that. Break of structure plus the fair value gap. Imbalance we're looking for equals enter. Wait for it to continue higher. How much higher? This is a ridiculous scale. A very ridiculous one. That volume could easily come in and stop us out as well. Look at that, though. Look at that, though. Did you see that, guys? The volume almost shifted there. Let me see what the London, like overall session of London says. Almost. Right at. So these volumes are relatively equal now, which means it's ping-ponging between the two, building up, building up, building up. The next closest to either of these is this down here, which tells me price is going to want to come down after ping-ponging through this. So we are looking at consolidation, and we're waiting for it to expand over time. The closer of the two is the point of control 3 up here, but this is less likely because even on the overview, the high time frame from open here all the way this way, point of control 3 is quite small, quite baby cakes. There's more leverage down here that it could take and then run with after. So I'm looking at a potential move down and thinking, okay, after consolidation, it might continue downward. Even on the hour, we're in a move down. We're in retrace off this move up and break of structure. It's tested the fair value gap. It's doing a warble situation once it's done. We could see it lower. And honestly, where would I target if it were to continue lower? I'll move this to the side. I'll put a short right here. That's a 1 to like 1.75. I would honestly take this and put it like right above these highs here. And that would bring it to a 1 to 3 risk to reward. I'm not entirely fond of this because there is very little I would go down with. Honestly, the lowest I would be comfortable going is like right here. And this is a stretch because this is so unbalanced. Like there would be no point to come down here unless it is solely to sweep this out to fuel the ability to just climb. Oop, hello. To climb A, B, and then later on. Give it a second. Oh wow, it's just A, B. Okay. I thought there was a higher node, but there is not. It's just this thing way up here. So yeah, this right here would be a stretch. This right here would be a stretch. Do I think either are possible? Of course, but at the same time, it's a risk doing any one of those, so I'm entirely inclined to wait. I wish to wait and see exactly what's going on here. We could be seeing a situation 3 on my AMT theory, based on my notes. When price ricochets off of these walls and we get a move up into point of control and it takes within and around it, but price closes around it instead of above. It closes below or it closes above, but only barely. It will actually react strongly off the next candle and proceed to plummet and then crash through this floor right here. And that will give us a breakout of this balance area, which will lead to continuation on down. The problem is every time we've seen a candle do something like that, it has crashed through multiple take profit areas, and it's always difficult to see where it might go next. And based on this retrace here, we're really looking for price to come back up, cross, and then continue higher, which would give us an accurate entry to continue higher. But we'll have to see what price wants to do when that time comes. Honestly, looking at the retrace too, like over this whole span of time, because it bottoms out right here. This is where the most volume is, and it bottoms out there. And then from this candle, it decides it's going to retrace all the way up. And then from this level, from this right here, all the way this way is about what we'd be looking at when we enter to take profit and set our losses at. That's some good coffee. I might have to go make some more because that was good coffee. Yeah, I think I've prattled on long enough. We got a little bit to wait. I think right now it's just dancing around the SMA, and it's honestly fueling the fire. It is very much so back and forth over that SMA, whereas the MACD says we are far below it. So we could see a break back to the downside on the high time frame based on the 5-minute, but based on the high time frame, we could also be on the 5-minute about to cross back up into that uptrend. So we gotta wait and see. We gotta know what's about to happen. It's gotta push through the point of control and continue higher, or it's gotta sit where it's at, and then Siller's gotta take over based on volume and then just crash through the floor. One of the two. I'm gonna pause the video. Oh, hello, actually. Hot dog. Events. Events are happening, Mr. Krabs. Events are happening, Mr. Krabs. Let's go from this imbalance forward so that way we are in the loop and we're not losing out on precious time. I'm moving the chart around a lot, and that is on purpose because I wish to capture from here to here, price moving, and then have to break out in the party, you know, because the party. I'm not moving that point of control 1 because it still remains strong on the high time frame. If I were to zoom out, that whole column you're looking at right now would collapse into like 2 or 3 candles, and that line would split down the middle of 2 of them, I think. Good stretch. How's y'all's day been? How's y'all's week been? It's Friday. It's the weekend. Yay. Can't wait for the weekend. Did I say I was going to pause the video? I completely forgot. Look at that. We pushed through point of control 1. It's now towards the current point of control in the 5-minute from the imbalance that we had noted earlier. I want to enter based on the MACD's move plus this. This is like the best setup I have ever gotten for this strategy. I did not apply the price rejection. I'm tempted to adapt a little bit of that because I'm used to saying, okay, wait for 2 candles to hit one level and then reject, but them being so close and then out the blue, a move being made immediately after. But because my setup wasn't available, it's there. I'm thinking adjusting it to if I don't see 2 levels hit, the same level hit twice, then go back to the MACD and compare the SMA to the volume. And if it lines up with the bias of the high time frame, go ahead and enter once it's crossed, and then go in that up direction so that way it's there. I mean, right now it's also doing it's doing just that. It's crossing. So I'm thinking what I'm gonna do is enter early. As soon as this crosses above and this is still in the up move the way it's supposed to be, I'm thinking we enter. I'm thinking we enter. Just thinking as much. We've been moving up this whole time, but it's been very, very little. The amount of volume that's about to come in and it being retraced like this, I do think this is cause for, okay, as soon as this opens, it's going to shoot way high. How high? How about this? I'm going to up the ante to 6. That's 21% of the account size. I know the risk. My thought process is at point control 3, I'm taking 0.03 off. This gives me way more back, and end result, even if I lose this trade, I'll be breaking even. If it decides to continue higher, that's perfect. That's okay. If it decides to continue lower, take it off in increments as it goes. Once it hits break even, wait at 1 and then call it from there. Either it loses the either we lose the trade, I lose the trade, or not, and it continues higher. I'm looking at that range now between point of control 1 and the point of control in the 5 minute. That is the deciding moment right there, actually, because even the MACD is coinciding with the point of control. It's giving me a clear indication. Okay, from here, boom. Now we need to see if this is going to go green. As soon as this flashes green, I'm down to enter. I know that's a bad idea based on this chart, but the volume and this are coinciding. We have an imbalance, and it's just a strong, steady stream up. On open, we could see it continue much higher. Could see it continue much higher. Pretty sure it's going to continue much higher. That is a price level. That's gotten right at it too. You see that right there? That high? This high right here? It's met that same level. Is it going to reject and continue to drop, or is it going to push through, close, and then move higher? That is the question. If it decides to close below and then drop, we know it'll continue this whole trend on down. But based on open, could be a lot higher. Could be. We must see. Very indecisive. That is a Dragonfly Doji. If I've ever, no, it's not a Dragonfly Doji. I forget. This is just your standard Doji, I think. Price is so indecisive on what it wants to do. So it's just gonna stick in the middle right there. The volume says that it has explored option A, which is the high time up here, right? This right here. High time frame says it's explored this right here. So eventually it's going to have to find new balance or imbalance area, right? And based on that, we should see it continue in either this direction or this direction. Wow, look at that. It'd be easy for it to climb down this mountain, though, because you have steps to get down. This one's more of a fall off a cliff type of gist. I think, based on the way the volume is structured, I want to say it's going to go down on open. It'll sweep past all that liquidity, all of this volume right here. It'll sweep past this and then fuel it to go higher towards the mid or even after close, actually. And it would make sense for it to go down considering we have been in retrace from this downtrend for a minute now. We only recently broke structure here to continue higher, and that's just to continue the lessening of the volume. This price level. It's adding to the overall point of control on the hour. So this one candle is just getting larger and larger. So if we go up to the hour for that play, we're looking at this here, having just broke structure, come down. We retested the fair value gap right here, leaving a little bit left. Buyers have control, so if I think it'll continue higher based on that. It's finally pushed above it. We need to wait for that candle close, though. I said that, and then I instantly went to this. I'm like, oh, here's the fair value gap, and then here's this. Very indecisive. Sellers couldn't keep up, so I think it'll push higher. I think it will go higher. Comment section. We need a definitive cross of this, and I will be happy to enter. Target will be up high. This volume right here looks like a decent stop. This will prevent me from losing all of this. Thing is, final take profit doesn't look all that good either from this point right here. And next best bet is like up here. Based on the point of control I've marked up there. It might just do that. It might go up to that point of control and then reverse after. So that might be where my final take profit hits first, and then we'll see. Again, though, I think it might continue lower first. Just waiting for it to do its thing. That closed below. It really could go any direction at the moment. Really, really could. I'm going to call it based on this right here. I'm going to mark this. Here's my price level. Either it respects that, or it either disrespects that or disrespects this. This is my high to low. We'll see what happens. Based on the push through of these two, volume says it's explored this, so it might fall low, but at the same time, evenly spread volume says it might continue. It's probably going to continue higher to fuel whatever this is down here. I don't think I can count that. Volume's decreased right there. Where there's a lack of volume in one direction, it'll move into the opposite. Right now, it's looking like it is going to continue lower based on the in-between trends. I've jumped way too soon right there. Did y'all see that? I almost had FOMO right then. Golly. That would have been real bad. Volume is building to move it up. There we go. ahead and stop loss this right here at the bottom of this. Final take profit is going to go way the flip up here. Golly, that is so loud. That's my final take profit right there. That was the trade. It was a trade. I make certain that that's where my final take profit was supposed to be. It does not look like it. Looks like we went a little bit higher, so I'm going to do this. Boom. Take this. I'm going to move it a little bit higher. Boom, right about there. Confirm, spread's a thing. Do I think it'll go that high? No, but at the same time, I'm going to obey my rule at point of control 3. I'm taking away 0.03 of that. That'll get us half of the 0.4 whatever that is that I put in. And from that, we could be seeing it continue much higher. Yeah. And just like that, we're going to pause the video, take our time, wait it out just a little bit. I want to see exactly what it does later on. Could it have swept to push lower? I don't think so. I think my assessment was correct. I think it was. My trade idea makes sense. I think price is going to continue higher based on the higher time frame. Let's make certain what that risk to reward was because I'm pretty sure it decreased, but hey, we'll see. This was entrance. My risk to reward is a 2.27, which is not bad. It's not at all bad. It's actually a really good setup I've got myself there. Yeah. Yeah, it's going to go higher. We're good. Okay, I'm going to pause the video now. I'm going to leave it right here on the hourly, on the high time frame, because this is the play I'm after. From this entrance, I think it'll continue higher. How much high? This is a long shot, but point of control 3 is where I'm going to be at. I think I can add an alert for this. Alert there. Once that's hit, it'll take... I'll hop back into this, take away 0.03, and yeah, that'll be what I do. Pausing video now. BRB. Hello. This is scary. We entered at the right moment. That was good. Price has come down a lot and has continued to rise, but sketchy moment. I think it might be smart to leave market. We're moving up. The hour play says we're still rising, so I'm gonna hold true to this in particular. We're moving up. Doesn't look like we're leaving retrace anytime soon. So I'm gonna go off the high time frame that we're not going to be moving into a downtrend, because it has not created a lower low. Instead, it has broken beyond that, and we're looking at a higher high now. So it's literally this candle that makes or breaks us. We have 36 minutes for it to close, and that'll be our decisive gist. So far, price did hit point control 3, and I missed my alarm. For whatever reason, it did not show up here like I thought it would, and as a result, it did not alert me. So we're going to hold on to it. If it continues higher, yay. If not, I have a bad feeling it might continue lower, but at the same time, it looks like it's going to go higher because there is a point control way up here versus all of this that it could really hit and be done with. But again, we won't know until it happens. So it looks like it's, again, consolidating between these two. The likelihood of it continuing like this, slim. The easiest node for it to hit outside of these two is this right here, and this is the target we're after, just a little bit above it, because after it's hit this, you know, it'll continue a little bit higher beyond that. I'm just waiting for it. I am paused because I thought I was going to take out all of the position, because it's getting a little sketchy, not gonna lie. My confidence is being shook right now because I just opened it to look at it, and it sat at 70 cents per minute, and I'm over here like, yes, that's good, that's exactly what we want, but it's not quite what we want. Final take profit's much higher than that, and I think we can get it. I think we can. I think it's a possibility. High time frame says it'll continue higher. This stop loss is a little bit sketchy too, because it's based on the 5 minute and not the hour, the high time frame. Realistically, this stop loss could be placed down here and it'd be a little bit safer, but at the same time, that's more we'd be losing. And I'm kind of looking for a win. I'm really looking for a win. We got 34 minutes before this candle closes. I want to wait and see what it does. I'm going to pause the video again, and I'm going to see exactly what is going on. I'm very, very, very shaken. This is the test of discipline. This is a test of discipline that I've got to be careful about. So I'm going to pause, BRB, let's see what happens. So it looks like we had a failed trade occur. I managed to guess right. I mean, price did go up. It hit our point control 3. I was going to take half off, but I figured, okay, it hit it once. Maybe it'll continue. I was wrong, and as a result, we failed today's trade. It essentially just consolidated is what it did. It had a huge amount of volatility. PPI came in, and sure enough, I mean, I expected there to be volatility, but I didn't realize after it closed that it would slingshot back the other direction. So that's on me. Regardless of what would have happened, it would have been on me because I'm the one who entered the trade. It was a good trade. It was a good lineup. I imagine price is going to continue much higher from where it is right now. It is said that we lost it, but I'm not going to trade again today. It's Friday. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, consider subscribing. Drop a like if you did. And I think I just said that twice. Can you tell I'm almost at my wit's end with trying today trade? Because I don't know what I intend to do. I don't know what I'm going to do. I work up the nerve to do it, and then it takes the wind out my sail, little by little. And I get it's an overtime thing. I gotta be patient. I gotta not do quite literally what I'm doing now and being discouraged over a loss. Every loss is a lesson. I'm not breaking the bank just yet. I knew the risk going into, and I knew the risk coming out of. I knew everything except some fundamental basics that just did not line up. And that's on me, honestly. That is on me. I've got a lot to work on, a lot to improve on, and the more time passes by, the more I'm inclined to drop day trading altogether, but patience. To learn 1,000 ways to lose is also to learn 1,000 ways not to lose. Makes me a better trader in the end. So, that being said, thanks for watching. I'm about to start streaming, so head over to Orbs Vault. I understand this video is going to get uploaded kind of late. The stream will have started by the time this gets done uploading. If you're interested in checking that out, links to that can be found down below. You're looking for Orbs Vault on YouTube, the Twitch link, and if TikTok's down there, you'll have TikTok to look at as well. Yeah, come hang out. I'm going to be streaming for the next 6 to 8 hours. So I'm going to do 3 different games. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video if I can work up the nerve to trade again. The account's not broke, but it's painful to watch a loss. I gotta take a punch. I gotta learn. Okay, I'm gonna stop the video now.